Welcome to CityCast Denver. I'm Bree Davies, and here's what Denver's talking about. So today we're talking about the Trump administration's latest fight with Denver, and it's over guns, what's going on with the Senate bill on AI regulation, and more. Producer Paul Caroli, hello.
Hey, what's up, Bree?
Good morning. And Westward Editor-in-Chief Patty Calhoun, hi.
Hi.
So before we jump in, you two were grumbling about this Democratic candidates for governor's debate last week. Who was dressed better?
I actually thought Bennett's was an interesting color choice. It was like a blue shirt and kind of a muted plaid jacket. I could be wrong on that. But with the way everything was filmed, it looked like a high school debate reunion, maybe held in the bar after hours.
So you know what thought I had about Bennett, actually, speaking of his suit? I thought his suit was not fitted correctly.
That was the schlumpy part of my description.
This is what I'm asking about. I feel like this is a problem maybe sometimes for those of us in Colorado.
Yeah,
maybe we have a suit, but it doesn't fit or it's not been pressed.
But is that really wrong?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, he also is not wearing a tie. Weiser chose to wear a tie. Bennett chose a little bit more casual
And he had
look.
jeans.
And I guess he had jeans.
Wait, Bennett but you said he was wearing a plaid what?
It was like a muted blue and brown jacket, maybe. I liked it.
Oh, he is going Colorado casual, no tie. I see. Okay.
But on the other hand, then we also got spanked by someone because we were too casual when the DNC site convention crew came through, that we were too casual.
Really?
And if you're coming to Colorado, you are not going to be wearing a suit every day. That's for sure.
That's kind of, I mean, I feel like if you Google Colorado style or fashion, that's probably immediately what comes up. So I guess it was not, nobody won in the fashion department. As far as the debate goes, I don't know.
I
Who
actually
cares?
didn't think anyone won in the debate. I thought it was remarkably lackluster. And I've been going over a few things that were interesting to come out of it. But in general, that debate was not going to excite anyone over this election.
No, I agree. I think that the interesting thing about the governor's race right now is that they're going negative. Certainly there's been started attacking each other. And I've heard from people who know the candidates that they really don't like each other at this point. Like it started cordial and now they've just been put up against each other enough that it's not fun. Like Bennett in particular, I think that the attack on him from Weiser has been like, oh, you voted for all these Trump nominees. And previously Bennett, his defense was, well, I had no power to stop them. There was no question of them being nominated. My vote was meaningless. And so, yes, I voted yes in order to preserve some kind of a relationship. I guess he could have said this is a turn towards the past when our political leaders were comfortable talking to each other and not hating each other constantly. I don't think that's the popular move right now, as Weiser has been attacking him quite fruitfully for months. And Bennett at the debate decided to now say he made a mistake. With the Chris Wright, specifically Chris Wright, the energy secretary, the Denverite, who Bennett voted to confirm that nomination. He says that he wishes he didn't.
He now regrets that vote.
So,
and if you watched Chris Wright this weekend on all the news shows, that was good. You know, I don't think Coloradans like it when opponents aren't at least friendly and kind of more casual in their disdain for each other. I was remembering 2010, the greatest gubernatorial race ever, with Tom Tancredo as an independent, Dan Mays as the Republican who got barely 10%. I mean, Colorado Republicans almost lost major party status that year because their Republican candidate was so bad. Take a lesson 16 years later. And John Hickenlooper, and you could not come up with three more completely different types. I mean, Tancredo basically took every vote away from Dan Mays. But still, you could have civility and a certain level of humor, and I just didn't see that here. They looked uncomfortable.
I think it's generational. I think like the MAGA people coming in and taking over the Republican Party, and then the Democrats kind of have a similar mirror thing going on with the progressive wing where like, I think older people tend to want their politicians to be more friendly to each other. And now that is just fully not what is in the water right now for young people. I think young people want fighters.
And they want suits that fit? I don't think so.
Maybe. But we'll see in June. But they, the thing that Weiser and Bennett always emphasize is that I'm the fighter. I'm the fighter. Both of them are saying this. They're trying to make that case.
And meanwhile, they just sound like two tersely angry dads in an airport line. On security, just trying to fight each other but not be too rude.
Yeah, they don't sound like They're about to step in the martial arts ring. Let's say that.
Okay, well, let's move on. Let's start with the Trump administration's latest looking towards Denver. So the Trump administration is suing the city of Denver over a 37-year-old law that makes it illegal to, quote, carry, store, keep, manufacture, sell, or otherwise possess assault weapons in city limits. Patty, you were around when this law was passed back in 1989. I would just love to set the scene. Like, what was the conversation about guns in Denver like then?
In Denver, so think about Denver. It was just really feeling its oats as a city that was coming along. We had Pena, first Latino mayor, who was just finishing his second term. You have Wellington Webb competing against Norm Early, the DA at the time. And you had these communities very concerned about gun violence. It was before the summer of violence, but you had Latino, Black communities really concerned that the assault weapons were not the kind of, pistols you would see in the Old West. They were not what they thought about when the Constitution included what the Second Amendment passed. It was really worrying about what assault weapons could do. Gangs were coming along, and Denver passed this law banning the assault rifles, and we didn't hear a word about it, really. There were some challenges in the courts, but the feds didn't come in for 37 years until on Tuesday they filed suit. They'd given a couple-day warning that they were coming after Denver, filed suit on Tuesday about that, and then the next day we got the large capacity magazine suit against all Colorado.
You brought something up off mic too, which was this was before Columbine too. And I just think that's a really important thing to think about when we think about Colorado as and the conversation around guns.
So this wasn't a knee-jerk reaction to a horrific tragedy, but it was just because we have the right as a home rule city to ban certain things, and we don't want you to have an assault rifle. Bring assault rifle into the city. You don't need it for anything here. Yeah. Don't do it.
A couple of interesting pieces from that letter that Patty mentioned that I looked it up. It's the Trump's Department of Justice, the Civil Rights Division. Someone named Assistant Attorney General Harmeet K. Dillon sent this letter. A couple notes from that letter. Number one, he calls them so-called assault weapons. Apparently, that is like an arbitrary distinction that is just like a word that people use to describe a general category.
Assault weapons
weapons, yeah. So, and that's just part of the letter is like, you have this ban. It's not clear what it means. And then he also addresses the letter to Mayor Johnston and Mr. Brown, who, if you look up who Denver City Attorney is, it is Michiko Ando Brown, a woman.
Well, and assault weapons and rifles and guns. I mean, assault guns, I guess I'll use that. They've definitely evolved too since 1989. I mean, there are different kinds, there are different uses. But in general, when this was passed in 89, there was nothing anyone really could think about why you would need one on the streets of Denver.
Yeah, well, obviously the gun conversation has changed. And then the other thing this Harmeet K. Dillon cites is in 2008, there was a Supreme Court decision that the District of Columbia versus Heller that holds, according to him, the Second Amendment protects the right of law-abiding citizens to possess weapons that are in common use for lawful purposes. And the common use thing
what does that mean?
Is, I think, important because that particular type of gun, AR-15s, I've only gotten more popular, I believe. And Harmeet K. Dillon says it's the most popular rifle in America. So it is covered by Denver's ordinance, despite the Supreme Court having that ruling about guns in common use. So that seems to be something. That's the legal argument that I'm seeing here.
So it's possible.
But it should be an interesting case, is what I'm saying.
It's an amazing case. And then the next one is also going to be incredible. And I haven't seen yet if the same week, I haven't heard of any yet, if the feds went after other states and other cities, because certainly we are not the only city with gun bans, and we are not the only state with gun legislation like that. The large capacity magazine is that bill in 2013 was definitely a response to what happened at the Aurora Theater when you could have one person rapid fire shooting, killing so many. And that went through fast.
Yeah. I just had to look up what an AR-15 looks like, and it's the gun that is on the decals of a lot of cars that say, like, come and take it. So now I know what it looks like. But Paul, you wanted to sort of pull back and zoom out. And I think you're touching a little on this, Patty, with this is not the first time that Trump obviously has gone after Colorado in this current term. Paul, so you look back at his administration, how often it's come after the state and the city. Where do you want to start?
Well, when I saw this news, I was like, I know this story. I've seen this before. And I thought, well, what exactly has he done? What has the Trump administration been trying to change about the way that Denver runs itself? What does he not like? So I just started a list, and maybe there's things I forgot, maybe not. But there's Colorado stuff, there's Denver stuff. I have a top 5 just for Denver. 5 is the federal funding being in question for federal BRT. I think that one actually might get bumped off for the assault weapons ban thing. But that funding, as far as I know, is still in question for federal BRT.
It came up at the BRT meeting I was at for Federal Boulevard the other day. They said pending this money, there's 2 plans. There's Plan A and Plan B.
Yeah, they kind of need that money. Number 4, DOGE job cuts, thousands of Denverites affected.
What? I forgot. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's sad that I forgot about that because it was not that long ago.
This is what I was thinking. I was like, how many of these things have there been?
Yeah, what kind of jobs are we talking?
Well, the SBA was based here, and they were moving that.
That's right.
So even Lakewood got hit. Golden got hit with NREL, but the National Renewable Energy Lab, whatever it's called now.
Oh, gosh. I had that. What
Energy.
is it called now?
The Environment Rocks.
The National Release the Epstein List Lab is what I called it at one point. Number 3 is DPS. Denver Public Schools loses $10 million. Colorado Schools loses about $70 million.
Was this over gender bathroom
stuff?
Over
after-school programs. That's what the funding was for. Not sure exactly what the Trump administration was angry about there, but
we did have the threat
funding.
about the East bathrooms.
That's what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
Yes, when they got in the middle of our a single bathroom in a single school in Colorado. Yes.
Number 2, FEMA pulls back $24 million in money committed to help Denver to pay for emergency shelters for migrants. Trump administration did not like how Denver handled the migrants arriving in waves a few years ago.
And I mean, that dominated our city for months and months and months in terms of not just the conversation, but like what our city was focusing on.
And I'm lumping in there the general investigation into Denver's sanctuary status, where the mayor was called to DC. And we've now, I checked the latest number on that, the legal bills for Mayor Johnston to handle that investigation is up to $800,000.
And we approved up to $2 million.
Yeah, so that could
to cover the legal fees for this.
Paying for that.
Yes,
on top of
for the mayor to go to Washington. Okay.
And then number 1, Operation Aurora, of course. What else could it be? Trump on the campaign trail,
like a fever dream,
came after us for the immigration rules, and then post inauguration immigration enforcement surges. Colorado Sun reports new data showing that the feds have arrested 3 times more people on an average day in 2025 compared to 2024.
Okay, I have to point out, Aurora is not in Denver, but it did affect Denver.
We felt the enforcement,
of course.
certainly.
But don't forget, the Highland Mommies were going to be standing on the border and protect us. That was one of Johnston's quotes that got him into Congress. I go back to March, soon after Trump was back in office, and he took issue with his portrait at the Colorado Capitol, which had been there. It had been there for years. It was commissioned by Republicans.
I remember that poor artist, that poor woman, so just wrecked. I mean,
so for the first one, that was an incredibly weird, petty fight and presaged everything else that was coming. And of course, you've got other state ones, I'm sure, like pulling the Space Command.
Space Command. And he was mad about mail-in voting. That's why he said, among other things, that's why he moved the Space Command to Alabama.
Retaliatory president. What an
NCAR
approach.
I mean, what's going on up in Boulder with NCAR and NOAA? Incredible.
What is going on up there? I mean, do we know where we're at this moment?
There's a lawsuit.
Okay.
And the lawsuit was actually filed by National Science because they were so concerned with how quickly the Justice Department, it was like 8 days, wanted to take apart so many of those programs up there, and not just take them apart, but in some cases sell them to private parties like our database computer systems. So that's in court right now, and there was testimony on Thursday.
Oh, my gosh.
So some of the people still have jobs, but I know we've got someone working on a piece on that. They're disappearing.
My question is, with something like this, with suing the city of Denver, like, what is the outcome? Does he just get bored and move on to something else, or is this going to have long-term effects?
Well, he's got people for this. He's got, what's his name I've been talking about? Harmeet K. Dillon is going to be in charge. She's going to be handling the lawsuit, and if he fails, he's going to get fired.
That's true. That's true.
We still don't know what Lindsay Halligan's up to since her case against Comer didn't work out, but she's still around.
I don't remember her.
What is this?
She's a Regis grad. She was a friend of Charlie Kirk's widow. They were together at Regis, and she wound up in the Justice Department. First, she was a Trump private attorney, and then she wound up in the Justice Department, and then she was moved to be the head of, was it the Eastern Virginia DA's office for a while?
Huh. Sorry, you just said Erica Kirk went to Regis University.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
What? I thought
Charlie
you said that too,
Kirk's
and I was like,
widow,
wait a
Erica
minute, wait a minute.
Kirk.
I thought you meant like they were maybe just doing an event there, but like, she went to school there?
She went to school there for a while, and that's where she met
Okay.
Lindsay Halligan, and who was first assigned to take apart the Smithsonian. But then she got distracted, and she had to go take apart the former FBI head.
That's fascinating. A call out to Denverites, especially Regis grads. If you went to Regis
Oh my
with
God,
Erica
please
Kirk,
tell us.
please call in and tell us a story
Give us
about
the
Erica
tea.
Kirk in Denver. That is crazy. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
She's big meme fodder right now.
Oh, yes.
A lot
I
of
mean-
memes about that Erica Kirk.
Yeah, there was I just saw a lot of memes about her outfit in the latest video, and everyone's like, why is she dressed like Janet Jackson from the Rhythm Nation video? The black hat and like this like sort of casual military outfit. Very bizarre.
Wow, I missed that.
Oh,
Me
so
too.
good. All right, well, we're going to move on, and we are going to come back. We're going to talk about AI. This episode is brought to you by the Regional Air Quality Council. This summer, go wild for Front Range air quality. Created from pollutants like car exhaust, ground level ozone is the Colorado Front Range's biggest air quality issue and a leading cause of respiratory problems. But you can take simple steps for better air this summer and save money on gas. Leave the car at home and walk, bike, or scoot shorter distances. Other ways to do your part? Carpool and combine trips to save gas. Or be a better person like myself and get an electric vehicle. And maybe my electric vehicle only gets 88 miles for a charge, so I can only go so far, but I'm driving an EV. Shout out to my Nissan Leaf! Woo woo! Want to know when it matters most to take these steps? Sign up for summer ozone alerts. Text Better Air CO to 21000 or sign up for emails at the Simple Steps Better Air website. Learn more ways to help improve our air quality on the Front Range at simplestepsbetterair.org. That's simplestepsbetterair.org. This episode is brought to you by Levitt Pavilion. You know this summer is officially here when Levitt Pavilion Denver drops their killer concert lineup. If you're not familiar, Levitt Pavilion Denver is a nonprofit concert venue offering free and ticketed all-ages concerts May through October. This season starts with a banger, people. Catch Bone Thugs and Harmony on May 22nd for a ticketed show that you won't forget. You know, you have not lived until you have cruised to Bone Thugs and Harmony's Creepin' on a Come Up. Reminds me of back when I had a pager. Back in the day, we didn't have ringtones, obviously. We just had pagers, but you could personalize your voicemail. So you could just like put a Bone Thug song on it, and then someone would leave you a voicemail. And then you had to go to a payphone, and you had to call your pager, and you had to listen to the voicemail. That's a little history for you kids. Then, on May 23rd, see the first free series show of the year, Rock de Mayo, featuring Izcalli, Los Mocochetes, Fruta Brutal, Monica the Great, and more. RSVP for free shows, buy upgrades, and find the full schedule at levittdenver.org. That's levittdenver.org. Okay, so now we're turning to the state legislature, but I want to start with this article from the Wall Street Journal where it talks about the state of the tech economy in Denver. The Wall Street Journal says, quote, during the 2010s, the stretch from Boulder to Colorado Springs was dubbed Silicon Mountain for its concentration of founders and was minting a new startup every 72 hours. Then the article references a letter that was sent out last month, which we talked about, from 300 business leaders in Colorado who say the state's regulations on AI and other things are actively pushing potential companies away and making this place very unfriendly. So much so that companies are not only leaving, but new tech startups are not even coming here. But currently here in the state legislature, they're discussing a new AI regulation bill, or rather a new version of this bill. Business leaders were talking about this, but Paul, can you give a brief explainer about what this bill is, or sort of its evolution since 2024?
Sure. Yeah. So it has turned into one of the bigger fights of the legislative session this year because of what you're talking about. All these business leaders are upset about it and just the general state of our regulations in the state. But this bill passed in 2024, lauded ever since by Democrats as a nation-leading AI regulation. No other state has gone as far as us in passing guardrails on and rules on on how AI could come into our lives. Among them, rules about where AI can be used in things like hiring, to protect people from discrimination. I think we've heard so many stories about the way these, algorithms and these machines that we rely on maybe carry out our biases in different ways. So the fights were a lot about that and like how much of a burden that puts on businesses, how much of an effect that has on the way, startups that might want to deploy AI in their businesses would be affected. And then what's happened is a series of attempted compromises. Because when it was passed, Governor Polis said, I am going to sign this with one condition, that I will not let it go into effect without amendments. And that started 2 years of fierce negotiations, including a special session last year.
I was going to say a special session last year about this.
But they've been fighting about it literally ever since. And so this year, it seems like they finally made a compromise that at least the people in the room, whoever they are, can agree on. I didn't see a lot of debates on the actual floor of the House or the Senate. Seemed like a lot of backroom, lobbyists involved in this one. But that's who was most upset about it, is these businesses. So the compromise that they've come to, according to the Denver Post, is a, quote, near total rewrite of the bill. It has been washed down to what you'd call just like a notification bill, like a notice bill. All it does is require that applicants, say, to a job may be made aware when AI is involved in a consequential decision about their lives. And it still directs the Attorney General to enforce that requirement for notification that AI has been used in consequential decisions.
That feels so unnerving, thinking about the job market and hearing from folks that are looking for jobs and concerns over these such things is like, did my resume get booted out because something, that the algorithm caught decided made me unqualified for this job? And now you just get a notification that could be happening. That's what this bill is.
Yeah, I would say so. That's what the bill is, notification. The other thing that I think has been downplayed in the coverage is that the compromise bill does define what it means by automated decision-making technology, which I thought was pretty interesting, because when you talk about AI and when people complain about AI and you really get into it, everyone's got something else that they think AI is. Like some people talk about AI and they're like, oh, Skynet in the future. I don't want the AI dictatorship to take over my life. And some people are like, I don't want to look at a concert poster designed by one of these chatbots. Everyone has a little bit of a different thing, and AI means something different to everybody. So this makes it more specific. And I think that's actually a pretty important piece for building future regulations around that definition.
Yeah, well,
if a small.
The governor did have a task force working on this, and they came up with a proposal in March after many months of negotiations. And this is pretty much what they said. We have to remember how fast AI is moving. So any legislation from 2 years ago, it was already imperfect.
Yeah.
And now it's out of date. And by even being able to come up with definitions like that, that's key, because there are so few things you can really grasp on. Here is something we definitely know about AI that isn't going to change, maybe, but the rest of it is moving faster than the legislature is right now, which is saying a lot, given how fast the legislature is moving with 2 days left to go. But I think this proposal is probably about as good as we're going to be able to get it right now. Robert Rodriguez, who did the original proposal and also came in on the second, said, money made all the difference. Money, the big tech money, they influenced all the changes. But they're the ones who are changing the technology right now, too. And when we talked about assault rifles, those have also changed. I mean, laws, it's hard to build flexibility into them, but we have to remember at some point we might need to update them, or we should know when they're already obsolete, when they're passed, which is basically this first AI bill.
Yeah, which I think is why Polis has contended that it should be federally regulated, not state by state.
And of course, that's what Trump's talking about right now, that they're talking about uses and exactly those kinds of definitions. And if done right, it would be okay. We just don't have a lot of faith in the done right.
Yes. You got to think, if you're Jared Polis, like, did your voters, did the Democrats of Colorado who put you in this office, did they imagine that they were going to be deferring on AI to the Trump administration, who has a very different perspective?
Didn't Trump AI himself as Jesus for Easter? I'm just thinking about uses for AI and how this administration might be thinking about it. I'm just trying to think of practical implications for regular Joe out in the world. What are these regulations going to mean if they go into effect? If these things can be so out of date within days or weeks or months of passing?
Well, the business leaders would say it might dictate whether or not average Joe has a job.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is what was persuasive and led to this bill being so pulled back. Because reading the quotes from the CEOs and the business leaders, that's one thing. Like, I think people are going to have a lot of opinions about how those people, but Colorado economist Gary Horvath, this is just an economist, no stake in it. He says questions around the state's business climate could continue hanging over the economy regardless of what happens to the AI bill, because job growth is declining, because businesses are leaving. Like, yes, they're talking about the AI bill, but they're also talking about the broader sense that Colorado is a place where our leaders want to put more regulations on business. Like, that's what the Democrats who have been in control have been wanting to do. I mean, and it's a lot of things people believe in. Things like greenhouse gas emission laws or voter-approved paid family leave programs. Like, that's what Dan Caruso, the venture capitalist guy who ran Zayo Group, he wrote this big long thing complaining about, according to the Wall Street Journal. But Gary Horvath is like, just look at the fundamentals. The most obvious way to improve job growth and hence population growth is by attracting and retaining quality businesses. So, and now this is me speaking. So if the businesses are all leaving and they're talking about regulations like this AI law, a way to improve the economy, improve job growth and population growth is by reducing regulations. That's the case on the other side.
Well, that's certainly what's being pushed. And the 300 people who signed actually included Jared Polis.
I know. I thought that was so weird. He signed it, and he has the authority to do the things.
The governor. Yeah. He's not a bit. He's not
but you were saying.
Well, I have talked about it here. I'm going back to when Coloradans happily said, "Hey, we don't want to pay big." In that case, business boosters, the Olympics to come here. We don't want to pay because we don't want to ruin our environment and what we love. Mm-hmm. This is not, in some ways, this is not dissimilar. People ultimately, unless we really screw up the state, will come back because of what they love about this state. But in the meantime, you've got a lot of jockeying for position and figuring it out. I don't think Palantir left because of our AI bill. I think it contributed to it, but I think the Miami tax advantages and the Florida tax advantages had a lot more to do with it. Yeah. And I don't think we want to become Florida.
Well, but it's the AI bill, but it's the broader sense too. I mean, it's not just the specific. I think the business leaders, you sometimes get in the coverage, you get distracted because it seems like they connect the two. Like Palantir was upset about the AI bill. It's a broader sense.
Sure,
there's a lot of things.
The Colorado Chamber of Commerce went through, and I can't remember if it was that they did it. We were the 6th most regulated state.
Yeah.
And they did that study last year. And they're, Ed Sea lovers over there, those are people who are reasonable people who weren't blowing smoke. They really did come up with that concern.
I think what this is about, though, is the Olympics story is so interesting in comparison to the AI bill, because I think it's about what Coloradans love about the state. Some people love the mountains. Some people love the idea that you could start a business and have a chance.
Some people love the idea that you can be a creative without having to worry about AI stealing your job. So there's that too.
Yeah.
I think that's
a lot of people.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing a lot, is just like, what does this mean for my kind of job? And I've heard that from so many people in so many different industries. There's so much unknown. So sure, making the economy better sounds great. More jobs sounds great. What are those jobs? Who's going to be qualified in working them? That we don't know. We don't have a lot of information on
Boom
that.
Supersonic, that's another company where Blake Scholl, maybe, I don't know if this person, says he's thinking about leaving. And that would be, I think, over 1,000 jobs.
Is that giant plane in Centennial?
What is Boom Supersonic?
Yeah,
they're trying to build
aerospace.
a supersonic. Yeah.
Yeah, he said he and other critics argue that the AI bill would add compliance costs and distract attention from companies when they need to focus on winning the AI race.
Is this the new or old AI bill? And that is the AI bill again, not other regulations.
I don't think that's specifically. I think he's probably talking about the old AI bill, but he's talking about AI is moving fast. If you can't move, you're dead. So jobs like Boom Supersonic, not just Palantir.
That race, interesting.
Yeah, again,
perception is real.
And it moves so fast that what we passed 2 years ago, no way was that realistic now.
Yeah.
Just in what's happening with AI, what the growth is, what the uses are. And we're going to have to be prepared to redefine this again, probably, if it passes, which it will.
Perhaps.
And also, you might have noticed that the legislators held over the proposal to be able to lure data centers here with tax incentives. That just got held over without till next year.
Yeah, agreement on data centers.
I mean,
fascinating.
There's a lot of community pushback as well.
I know, but it was interesting that you didn't read a lot about it, kind of like, bye-bye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because as Robert Rodriguez said about why his compromise was so important, he was like, voters want this. Polling bipartisanly on data centers and all the other stuff, it is not going well. People want us to do something. And so the fact that on data centers they have done nothing, of course they're not talking about that.
Well, they didn't give them the money, which I guess is something that most people would approve of.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, we're coming to the end of the legislative session, so we're going to be seeing all kinds of things happening in the next couple of weeks. We're going to take one more break, and when we come back, we hear from you, our dear listeners. This episode is brought to you by Denver Health. As more states change their laws around psychedelics, a big question keeps coming up. What does that actually mean for people's health? Denver Health is working to find out. Denver Health just received major funding from the National Institutes of Health, one of the most competitive research grants in science, to study how psychedelic use and drug policy affect health outcomes over time. The research will track use patterns across the country and compare results in states with different laws, giving doctors, lawmakers, and communities the reliable data they've been missing. At Denver Health, bold research that improves health is part of the mission for life's journey. Learn more at dhha.org/psychedelic surveillance. That's dhha.org/psychedelic surveillance. This episode is brought to you by Cozy Earth. Listen, I've been the owner of many a jumpsuit, a tracksuit, and the occasional jogger set. I mean, it's Colorado, baby. We're all about athleisure and wearing our inside clothes outside. But somehow, Cozy Earth has managed to make something that's both comfy and cute. Seriously, Cozy Earth's bamboo brush jogger set is my new fave go-to. It's all black, it's lightweight, and it has a tapered fit that doesn't make you look like, as Oprah once said in 1997, a schlumpadinka. No. I look awesome in this thing. But somehow, it feels exactly like my super soft, super snuggly Cozy Earth pajamas. Except this jogger set is made for a trip to Costco or a school pickup and drop-off or lunch with my mom, Brooke. Paired with Cozy Earth's Lake House clogs that are made of 100% Italian wool felt, a rubber sole, and a cushioned suede footbed, I look like the cool mom that I am. This spring, give yourself the kind of comfort that lives with you all day, not just the moment you get home. Head to CozyEarth.com and use our code CozyDenver for an exclusive 20% off. And if you see a post-purchase survey, mention that you heard about Cozy Earth right here on CityCast Denver. Remember, Cozy Earth, comfort lives here. Okay, we're back. It's Tuesday. We love to hear from you, our dear listeners, about things that you care about. Paul, what do we have this week? We have a voicemail?
We got a voicemail.
We got a voicemail. Okay.
Hey, CityCast. This is Aaron from Uptown. I'm calling about Vio. I was really excited for them to come to Denver and get some new scooters, and I really like their scooters, but in trying to use them today, 3 have been broken. 2 have not worked, and so I've ended up having to walk halfway to my destination because I can't rely on scooters. Seems like a bummer for their rollout, and yeah, just think we should talk about it.
Ooh. Well, I got to say, for just rolling out, that's not a good sign that this person came across so many operational scooters.
We just had the story yesterday about the sidewalks are full of leftover scooters.
Yes.
Now, we don't know if they were broken, but technically, one of the reasons VO got this contract is they supposedly had scooter technology that would keep them off the sidewalks. In fact, if you were on a scooter that was going on a sidewalk, it would talk to you and tell you to get off. Mm-hmm. And that's not, as it turns out, that technology doesn't have to start up till July 1. So if you are seeing it on the sidewalk, it could be just because you can do it until July 1, you shouldn't. Or it could be that because it's broken, so which is really wild.
After July 1, is it just going to start yelling at you?
Yeah.
I wonder if it'll speed limit you as well.
Slow down.
Because they capped the speed, at least the Limes and Birds did on 16th Street. When I would try to get through there, I would sometimes get grumpy about not being able to go as fast as I want.
Yeah, our writer also, she did a test model and it told her she was braking too hard.
Huh.
So it can really talk to you. I don't know what else, if it'll give us advice on AI.
I guess with the
I
scooter.
mean, we're really looking for advice from anyone at this
Yes.
point with AI. So
Brie, have you tried one of the VOs?
absolutely not. You think I can't? I've already told this story. My mommy wouldn't let me. She saw
Well-
too many facial injuries in the ER. She would kill me if she
And
found
I
out
was
on
just
one
hearing
of
about
those.
that at Children's, that the
Yeah.
scooter injuries
I
way
saw a
up.
9-year-old on one the other day, and I was like, "Oh, good Lord!"
I saw a little kid on one, and it was one of the sit-down ones. It was like the glider thing, and then the mom was sitting down, and then the kid was just standing down on the platform. I've seen now 3 VOs that had 2 people riding them, which I know
they're
was always a
designed for,
thing.
right?
Not all of them.
Oh, not all.
But
Okay, some models are.
Yeah, not the ones that I was seeing didn't look like they were designed for what the people were doing on them. But yeah, it was always a thing with Lime. Was there was that funny photo of 2 people on it, and I've seen it more now.
The video of the people on I-70 on a Lime
Yeah,
when everyone was like,
Very
I
good.
want a love like this.
I wonder where they are today. They'd be worth finding.
I know, truly. If you know the folks that were on the Lime scooter on I-70, let us know.
Meanwhile,
We wanna
Erica
talk to them.
Kirk, 2 years, Regis University. She graduated from Arizona. She was on the basketball team, and she was a pageant princess.
The more you know. Paul, have you rode a VO?
yeah. I rode one this morning.
Okay,
Yeah,
tell us about it.
it was. You know what? I had a third of a latte left, and I saw the VO on the sidewalk, and I was
Do
like,
they have cup holders on them?
"Give this puppy a spin." Sure does.
Nice.
Did it work? Absolutely. Didn't spill a drop.
Okay.
It's a smooth ride. It felt solid. I rode one of the e-bike ones. I had the option to pedal, but I didn't need to, which I learned after I had pedaled for a minute. And then I was just like, wait, what's this throttle thing for? Oh, wait, I don't have to try at all. It was great. I really enjoyed it. They're in such good shape. I'm surprised that this listener had a different experience.
I know. I was like, that's what I was like, they're already busted? How are they already
no,
busted?
The one I was on was gorgeous.
Can
I am a bit grumpy with them because I've saw in all the reporting, and I should have just asked the company myself, but the reporting all said the cost is going to be for Denver residents $1 to unlock and then 25 cents per minute.
Uh-huh.
And what I paid was $1 to unlock and then 39 cents per minute because I was riding a Cosmo model. I think they're charging different amounts for different
Based on the
models,
model. Okay.
which I need to do a little bit more research on later.
Patty, I
That
don't want to make any
smooth
assumptions.
ride.
Are you a scooter rider?
Oh, no.
Okay.
You know, I keep thinking, I wonder if I could drive that, the little tricycle model on I-25 to Mom's, but I think not.
Hey,
Patty, for your safety, I don't want you to do that.
I think, yes, I would
Based on
agree.
how little people see motorcycles, I can't imagine them seeing a tricycle. Paul, what did you think in comparison to your Lime and Bird experiences? Are we in a better place?
it's just that they're new. It's
Sure.
just that if you get a new car, it runs great. You know, we got a whole bunch of new scooters. The one I tried, it was running phenomenally. It was so responsive and smooth and it felt powerful.
But
and
I feel
felt
like in most
Superman
things
out
in
there.
2026, give it a couple days and it's already going to be garbage.
Yeah, perhaps. I mean, that's going to be the test for VO is can they keep it in good shape? Did the city of Denver craft the contract in a way as to incentivize them to keep their vehicles in good shape?
We would hope so. They certainly looked at it long enough. They had enough people lobbying on all sides,
Yeah.
but we'll know soon enough.
Yeah. Well, I'll be riding them.
Well, we want to know, have you rode
While they still
a VO
run.
scooter?
Yeah.
Have you which model have you been on? If you have been, how do you feel about these new scooters and bikes versus maybe the old Lime and Bird? Give us a call on the
Scooty Cutie hotline.
Scooty Kids Only VO's Future Hotline 720-500-5418. Again, you can leave us a voicemail, which we love, or you can text us if you're shy. Let us know what you think. Patty, Paul, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
See you next time.
That's all for today here on CityCast Denver. If you enjoyed this show, why not take a minute to tell Assistant Attorney General Harmeet K. Dillon about us? Rate the show wherever you get your podcasts, follow us on Instagram and TikTok, and subscribe to our morning newsletter at denver.citycast.fm. And hey, thanks to our new neighbor, Ashley Kay, who just joined our membership program. You can support this show and get great perks by becoming a CityCast Denver neighbor today at membership.citycast.fm. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. See you later.